Hello, I'm Karry Avery, and the tragedy has hit close to home this week. In central South Carolina on Walking Street, a homicide has took place behind me, as you see. It happened around 7 p.m. In today's newscast, we're going to have a full in-depth coverage story about this story, a full interview with the chief of police, and interviews with some of the students at our school to see how they feel about this. You're now watching the CTV News Network. Let's go. Tragedy has happened right up my street. Mr. Hicks killed his long-term drinking buddy of, I guess, around 20 years. Now, I'm going to give you two different versions of the story. One is newspaper and a news version. Also, and then the second one will be what neighbors say most likely have happened due to recent patterns that were shown and over their long course of friendship. Okay, first up, the newspaper version. A Central man was formally charged with murder Friday after authorities said he stabbed a longtime friend in the neck with a knife. Warrants obtained from the Central Police Department state that Gerald Wade Hicks, 55, stabbed Roger Miles, 59, of Jasmine Drive North during an altercation at Walking Street residence on Thursday night. Friday morning, authorities were able to interview Hicks, who was reportedly intoxicated Thursday night, as well as two witnesses. Hicks corroborated the witnesses' accounts of what happened. Now this is most likely true. He did stab him, but Mr. Hicks also had stab wounds to him. Now neighbors are saying that, well, they didn't see this obviously, but in the past, Mr. Hicks had to throw Mr. Rogers out on a few different occasions because he would stay at the house too long. Now neighbors are saying that Roger was so drunk that I guess he stabbed Mr. Hicks first, for whatever reason, because I guess he didn't want to leave, but Mr. Hicks, after so long of BS in your house, you're going to retaliate. If someone's stabbing you in your own home, then what, you're just going to stand there and get stabbed in your own home? No, no, no. So I'm saying that probably, if this is the case, then Mr. Hicks, he was charged with murder, and he's being held in the Pickens Correction Facility. But these could be false charges because it's going to be pretty darn hard to charge him with murder without a reasonable alibi. But this here is, if it's true that in many occasions he was thrown out before Mr. Roger by Mr. Hicks. So most likely story is that Mr. Roger might have started stabbing first. And I have some footage here of me at the crime scene last night. I'm not sure if you can really hear it. But here you go. Hello, I'm Karry Avery reporting from Central South Carolina. There seems to be a crime scene investigation going on here. A man was believed to have been stabbed in the neck. We'll have more on this at 11 o'clock. Alright, next up is the interview with Chief Avery that I got on Thursday night along with Fox. We were both interviewing him at the same time.
Tell me a little bit about what happened here tonight, what time this call came in, and what you got going on.
We got the call here about 7:30 this evening in reference to a fight. My officers were tied up on another call down at Walmart, and the person that called 911 then was getting real panicky on the 911 call. Said that the person had been stabbed. So our guys cleared from Walmart, and we also got some county units en route to help us out. They all got here pretty much about the same time. I think the two county units were on scene first, but had two people hanging around just outside the porch over here. Both of them were placed into handcuffs just for officer safety issues. They looked inside the house and saw a man laying on the floor, checked him for a pulse, and he was unresponsive.
And were one or both of those individuals placed under arrest, or?
No, we've got one, our person of interest right now, that's over at a hospital. He's had some superficial cuts to his arm, and so we had to take him over to get stitches. And we're just in the process now of interviewing everybody, and we're going to go from there.
Were one of those individuals the one that stabbed the the deceased?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And basically right now you're trying to determine if maybe he did it, under self-defense, or is that
That's correct? That's correct. We want to try and put all the pieces together before we go jumping in with any charges.
Okay. It sounds like I guess both individuals that were here were cooperating by the fact that they were here when you showed up. That they didn't run or anything like that.
Right. And the one guy lives here. The victim, the deceased victim, did not live here. He was an acquaintance to both of the gentlemen here.
Okay. So the deceased, you said, didn't live here, and the other two individuals did?
That's correct.
Do you know what they were squabbling about?
No. These guys have been into it before, but I guess they're kind of like childhood friends. They fight, and then a day goes by, and they come back, and they're okay with each other again, and it's just kind of a revolving door of violence between the two of them.
With that being said, you said they're acquaintances, and obviously they've been friendly with each other. What was the individual that stabbed the man? What was he like when you arrived? Was he upset over all of this?
No, not really. I didn't speak with them. They had been drinking, and I think that alcohol played a part in this tragedy.
Anything else we need to know, details-wise, or anything like that?
Not right now. I'm not going to release the name of the victim. I'm going to go sit down and talk with his family members here in a few minutes, and until we're sure of which direction we're going with this case. If we come up with charges, then we'll definitely release the suspect and warrants and stuff like that. Okay.
And you said, I'm not sure if you said in the beginning of the interview, but you said, was this white, black male?
The deceased victim's a black male, and our person of interest is a white male.
Okay. What was the approximate age of the deceased?
I'm wanting to say probably late 50s, early 60s, somewhere in that range.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
No.
All right. I appreciate it.
All right. Not a problem.
Now I'm going to show you a few interviews that I got from school.
This isn't a movie. You don't need to kill people. This ain't no mob or anything. There's no point in killing each other, okay? How do you feel about homicide?
Oh, I think it's a dirty thing.
Hello, I'm Corey Owens in Uptown Barbers in Central South Carolina with owner Maurice Gavins. Maurice, how do you feel about this horrific tragedy?
Well, things happen. And sometimes friends have disputes. And when friends have disputes, things happen. It escalates, and it escalates out of control.
All right. Has Mr. Hicks ever showed any violent patterns?
Well, violence is, how would you classify being violent? If someone step on your toes, would you retaliate?
Perhaps, yes.
Well, then if that's considered violent, then, then that means you could be considered violent.
How well do you say that you know Mr. Hicks?
I know him pretty well. I know him on a daily basis.
You think he's just liable to up and hurt somebody? You think there was something that escalated this?
Alcohol, anger and alcohol can, it cause you to do anything.
How often would you say that they hung out?
On a daily basis. It was best friends. They was compadres.
Alright. Did they get into a fight previously in the week or something?
Well, I wasn't aware of that, but they on occasions do fight.
Alright. Who would you say starts them first?
The alcohol. I'm curious. The alcohol start the fight. They don't fight. You know what I'm saying? That's all. The alcohol. If you and I was drinking that, we were drinking buddies every day, we'll be fighting too.
Thank you, Mr. Gavin. We send out our deepest sorrows to the deceased family, the Miles family, and to the Hicks we send out our deepest sorrows too. Whatever in the case, what happened here, not really sure exactly the full story because we weren't there. We've only heard allegations and different stories from neighbors and no witnesses. So yes, that does it for the Karry TV News Network today, and just be safe. Alright, roll the credits. Roll the